AM and FM.
WOON, Woonsocket.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Time to do that, and it's 8 in the morning now. And it's Coffee and Time here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. That's Dave Richards right over there.
Hi there,
Dave.
know?
Nice of you to be here. We expect Melissa Murray to be joining us.
Testing,
at
1,
some
2,
point.
3. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
Yeah, sounds fine. We're going to be joined in a few minutes by Ron Blaze. He is with the Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club, and we're going to be talking about their event that's coming up this coming
Field
weekend.
Day. The biggest one in amateur radio in a year.
But getting the all-important news, the Oklahoma City Thunder defeated the Indiana Pacers last night.
Oh, come on.
103-91.
We bombed Durant. That's the big news for you?
No.
Come on.
That's the tops. Oklahoma City wins the NBA championship 4-3.
Okay.
Very exciting stuff there. I'm happy about that. And the big news story, it's hot out. Moving on. It's going to stay hot, right, Dave?
Well, it's going to get hotter.
Oh, goody. So
And today it's only going to hit 97, which isn't...
only 97.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I was saying earlier this morning, Joe, that, of course, I've been doing the weather since, I don't know, I've been interested in the weather and had pen pals of Don Kent and other notable
Weather
meteorological type folks there. I was always interested in the weather from the time I was about 12 or so, and 12, 13. And so I've been studying it. In my adult life here at the station, I was the backup for Arthur Carteret, and then afterwards we took over when Arthur was gone. And so you learn an awful lot, and you see an awful lot. And I was thinking this morning, excuse me just a moment, the sun has just risen. and here she is with her fruity dress on. It's all
oranges.
It's all oranges. And
Yeah.
she looks like the sunrise coming in.
Good morning.
And
Hi, Melissa.
she's not shaking anymore. She got a smile on her face.
Why would that be?
Yeah, I
That's
know.
because my summer has officially started.
Because you finished your work in your part-time job,
Yes, my
which
part-time
has been notably
job.
not in the news, and we don't know why, but it hasn't moved on the wire service yet. Probably because everyone was sleeping when you finished. But we'll get to that in a moment. I wanted
Sure.
to finish my thought over here.
Absolutely.
About the weather. So I've been watching it for a long time, but I can really only remember maybe 5 times that it got quite this hot. We've had lots of heat waves and things like that down through the years. And 90s is no big deal. But to say that we know it's going to go over 100 and it goes over 100, well, I can only remember maybe 5 times in my lifetime that we knew it was going to happen, and it did. And so that's extra hot, Joe. And I was just pointing that out. And you know that I'm not a guy who talks about the weather and is interested at all in hyperbole. I'm not at all interested in trying to make things sound worse than they are. And 90s, no big deal. I mean, we've got this news service that we put on NBC Network News, and they made it sound like the second coming of doom. But I said, okay, it's going to be in the 90s. It's summertime. Get over it. You know, it happens. But 102, well, okay, that's a little warmer than it usually gets. So want everybody looking on each other. Take it easy, but keep the world turning, but take it easy for yourselves.
What's rare is that it's June. And it's this
Yeah.
hot. This usually happens sometime,
You
at least
expect
after the
this
4th of
You
July.
expect this the end of July
Yeah,
or
August.
the first. Usually the hottest days for us in Woonsocket are the first 2 weeks in August.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, June, days after the
that's
solstice.
Surprising.
Well, it's a heat dome. It's a weather system, and
Yeah.
it's throwing the weather patterns way off.
Now the good news is the schools are out.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I
that's
if you were
great.
inside the school, I mean, how many kids would bunk on a day like
But
tomorrow?
I remember It was my parents were taking us kids to our first trip to Disney World, 1981, and for some reason that year we had a lot of snow days. My last day of school, we were leaving July 1st, by the way, to go to Disney. My last day of school was June 28th.
Yeah, that's.
I think I
wow.
remember that year.
And I'm like, my parents were like, we're going to have to take you out of school. But I don't think they knew about the rule. It can't go past June 30th. But we were that close.
Yeah.
So it's possible to have school that late.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. So, but
You would not want to be sitting in a non-air conditioned classroom on a day like today. You just couldn't do it.
the only place that had air conditioning was the office.
Yeah.
No, you had. If we were lucky, we had a box fan
Yeah, yeah.
in the
Yeah.
room.
The good old
all
box
that's,
fan.
And all that's true. And the big problem is it doesn't get cool enough at night to cool everything down from the hot days, so that residual heat is added to the next day. And that's what's going to be happening tomorrow as the heat dome comes overhead. So
All right. Well,
be extra careful out there. But it's all it only lasts a couple of days, and then the real cooling starts on Thursday. But you're back into the 90s on Wednesday. And then on Friday in the park, look at this. 73 for a high.
nice.
Yeah, and partial sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are starting to see, because the summer cycle is here, we are starting to see chance of rain. And I don't know why the National Weather Service keeps putting chance of rain up front. Maybe they just, being extremely conservative or something. Well, grow up, boys and girls. During the summer season, when the summer systems are overhead, there is always a 30% chance of rain. If there isn't, something weird is happening, worth mentioning. There is always baseline 30% chance of rain. So if you see a 40% chance of rain, well, there's really only a 10% more than usual chance of rain. So there you go. We'll be fine. It's a rain or shine event at River Island Art Park Friday night. Had another great crowd last Friday.
Yeah.
Joe, it was
Oh, I'm
fantastic.
so bummed that I missed it. It looked
And we had
amazing.
3 food trucks,
great.
no long lines.
Good. So you're able to eat.
Oh gosh, yeah. I ate right after 6 o'clock.
Good.
I had a great rice bowl, chicken jerky,
Mm-hmm.
had plantains in it, stuff like that.
And I was
Some
seeing the comments on our broadcast about the Kick and Brass Band. They said these guys should be the
know it.
headliners.
They are amazing,
why,
aren't they?
why aren't they Why aren't they the top act?
Well,
Well,
we'll
maybe,
bring that
maybe,
up.
Maybe yes. Maybe next
Well,
year.
Maybe next
Okay.
year.
see,
yeah.
here's the deal. Little backstage so you understand, because I get these comments a lot. Well, how come you can't have the Beatles in here or the Rolling Stones or something? I said, well, it's like
Money,
this. Mortimer and Mimi Levitt Foundation, which is winding down and soon in a few years will be out of the picture totally. They give you $25,000, but they okay your bands.
Yeah.
And they're from California, and they want to see women, people of dark skin, people who write their own music, and people who are
Oh.
from circumstances that are unusual.
In different genres too.
Well, this is the thing. They don't want regular pop music on the stage. And they're giving you 25 grand to pay for those headliner bands, and they're going to get their way. And that's it. And in fact, every year we put it together. We put the schedule together on their guidelines, and they can still say no to any band.
Okay.
Which they did the first time with Steve Smith, by the way,
'Cause of
because
his
they didn't
name.
like the name The Nakeds. So they call it The Naked Truth now. And they accepted them.
Well, we look forward to this Friday. The Barefoot Movement playing bluegrass music.
Yeah.
Which is
Looks
always
good.
a lot of
And,
fun.
but the opening band, you got to be there for the opening
The
band.
Honk. H-O-N-K.
Look them up on UB2B.
Oh,
The Honk.
okay.
They are a riot.
Okay.
Okay.
So how long were you at the State House last Friday?
Did you get home
Melissa?
Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
So-
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Folks were taking bets the over, the under.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Did you win?
No, I think we all lost.
Yeah, we all lost, right? So it
Yeah,
was worse
yeah.
than you thought, right?
It was worse than I thought, yeah, actually. But
Well, that's because you had to report a few out and send them over the house.
send them over, and,
And
then
you
they
had to
had
wait for them, then you had to
mull
send
them
back.
over and send them back and change them on us and send them back, and then we had to send them back over, and yeah, it's like that.
Does Rhode Island have a budget to send to the governor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And from the look on your face, I will extrapolate
little-
that
it's-
it's not a budget that you would have recommended.
Or not happy with.
I mean,
Well, when it comes down to
Nobody's
passing
happy.
things,
Nobody's
nobody
happy.
gets
No one's
happy
happy,
because
yeah.
everybody compromises.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of wanted to vote no on the budget, to be honest.
Really?
Which I've
There are
not.
some things that really bothered you.
There were some things that really bothered me in the budget, but there were also some things. Everybody gets a little something, and when you work all year and plead your case, this needs to be funded. This is critical. This needs to be funded. 988, the suicide crisis line was funded. That was one of my top priorities. That was funded. Sojourner House was funded.
Okay.
The schools got more funding, but there was a caveat that I really didn't like really, really, really didn't like. But I couldn't. How could you say no when you've asked for something, you're given it? And even like there's a last minute finagle and a last minute trade for something that I personally wanted. So I was invested in it, and also, having served on the finance committee, and literally one year we served 100 hours in just the finance committee. I know how hard these folks work, and nobody gets everything they want. And so, it's kind of a slap in the face to them also to vote no on the budget. And there are folks who do vote no on the budget, but I did vote yes.
Yeah, but that's like political suicide, isn't it? If you vote no on the budget.
Oh, sure, you'll never get anything ever.
Right.
So
They won't even ask you what you want next time, right?
That's right. That's right. And Woonsocket came out unscathed. Okay.
Oh,
so
gosh, good.
Woonsocket came out unscathed.
It was looking pretty bad there. For
It
a
was
day or
looking
two.
very, very, very bad. And I will say that Senator Thompson and I have been publicly criticized because we did not vote no on the budget. But what folks don't understand, and Senator Thompson serves on the Finance Committee and did all of those hours
Yeah.
and worked with me to secure that funding for Woonsocket. You don't do that and vote no, because guess what? Woonsocket will never get anything. That's how it works, and people may not like it, and they may think that it's an overinflated budget, and it absolutely is, and we would both agree with you. But this is,
Right.
it's not so easy
It's
as
an
people
art of
think.
compromise.
I would
where's
love,
where's the greater good? Is that what you're saying?
that's right, that's right.
It's the game you have to play, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
but there's a lot of work behind it too that no one ever sees, and a lot of negotiations, and sometimes some raised voices, and sometimes some other stuff that people don't see.
Does everybody out there understand that the budget really is proposed by the governor?
Yes.
That's the first
That's
document.
the first document. The first document
Right.
that comes out
But
is
then-
not our document.
But then the House really crafts the budget. They can go through it line by line, say what they like, what they don't like, and change things. But by the time it gets to where you and Brian work across the hall at the Senate chambers, it's pretty much yes or no on everything.
When we vote on it,
Yeah.
as a whole, right? And so we do get to work behind the scenes negotiating, and the Senate Finance Committee does go line by line through that budget.
Right.
So we
But
get
the full
our
Senate
list.
can't say, I don't like this, so I'm voting no on that. It's just like all thumbs up or all thumbs down after it gets to the
Right.
floor.
So I would have probably voted no on a couple of budget articles, but we don't get the liberty to do that in the Senate. The House does.
Yeah.
They can vote on each individual article.
Right.
So if they don't like a particular article, like they don't like the education
go on
budget,
record as not
they can
supporting
go
it.
on record as not supporting it. We don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
So, love us, hate us. It is what it is.
Well,
All right.
anytime you make a decision, somebody doesn't like you.
True story.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, and more coming your way.
And
We're gonna
hopefully
talk
somebody
with,
likes you.
Sometimes.
We'll be talking to Ron Blaze coming up in just a few minutes, so keep it tuned here to ON, AM, and FM.
ON Radio.
Voted gold in ON Radio's Best of the Blackstone Valley in 3 different categories: Best Furniture Store, Best Outdoor Furniture, and Best Mattress Store is Coletta's Furniture. They have a lot of new collections that have just hit the showroom floor. Come and see Coletta's Furniture 2-floor, 25,000 square foot showroom packed with great deals and brand name merchandise, recliners, couches, dinette sets, and of course, bedroom furniture with mattresses are at Coletta's Furniture, and they offer delivery. No credit needed options and 1-year finance options. Coletta's Furniture, 598 Wood Avenue, Woonsocket.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen
The
report.
Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
We're local and live at 99.5 FM, ON, AM, and FM.
It is Coffee and right here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on this Monday morning. It's June the 23rd. I'm Joe Callahan, and we say hi to Dave Richards. Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Melissa Murray is here.
Good morning.
And we're being joined at the coffee and table by Ron Blaze from the Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club, or BVARC, as you like to call yourselves, right?
That is correct.
And Ron comes in once a year because once a year they have their annual field day, and it's coming up this coming weekend, Saturday, June 28th through Sunday, June the 29th. And don't you wish you had the weather we had this past weekend?
It would be outstanding.
Yeah. And this takes place...
Well, he's still got some pretty good. He's got a pretty good forecast.
Good.
Better on Sunday than Saturday, but a few more clouds on Saturday, but no washouts are in the forecast.
So where's it take place, Ron?
Okay, so the event, we're going to be located at the Situate Senior Center, which is the former Chopmas Hill Inn on Route 102.
Where the buses used to stop.
I'm sorry?
Where the buses used to stop.
Oh, that right, okay.
And 45 people get off and have chicken dinner.
That's right,
Get
Chopmas
back
Hill
on
Inn.
and head back home, yeah?
That is the former
gosh.
Chopmas Hill Inn.
Long time.
Yep, it will be held regardless of the weather. There is no charge to attend. And what we will do is we will have several radio stations operating simultaneously, including voice, Morse code, digital modes such as FT8. So Field Day is actually a nationwide event. It's sponsored by the American Radio Relay League, which is amateur radio's national organization. This year, ARRL expects 31,000 ham operators in the U.S. and Canada to participate.
Wow.
So it's a pretty large event, and it is also our biggest event of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We go through there.
How many of your members come down and set up? All of them?
No,
No,
not all
okay.
of them. But a fair number. We have sign-up sheets. We come in
Okay.
at different times, different days. It takes several days to set up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we want to have people there to show the visitors around the
Right,
grounds and so forth.
Some of them work in shifts, too, right? Because
Yeah.
it starts Saturday afternoon, then it's the overnight.
Right.
Right.
We try to get on the air Saturday at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
But sometimes we run into little glitches in setting up the radio, so it's a little later than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would recommend anyone that would like to come and visit to get there after 2 p.m. And then after that, before, not after 1 p.m. on Sunday, because we've got to start getting ready to
Break
get out.
stuff down.
So
Mhm.
it goes
Because
from
it's a 24-hour deal.
That's what
2
it is.
p.m. to 2 p.m.
2 p.m., absolutely, to get through. So, as I said, at its core, Field Day is an emergency preparedness exercise
Sure.
in which radio clubs and organizations throughout the nation test their readiness to provide emergency communication, simulating a national emergency or a natural disaster. So
So you go out in the field.
you have to go out in the field.
That's why they call it Field Day. You don't have the comforts of home.
No,
You're not working out of a building.
no.
And as I recall going to Field Day, and I wish that everybody else would too, you're running on generators a lot.
We cannot use it. We can't plug in.
You can't
We
plug
have to provide
into
our own
the
power.
electrical grid because it's a simulation of a disaster
Exactly.
where these comforts are not allowed. They're not existent actually. So that ham radio will be able to operate, and they practice, and what they learn on field day
Yep.
is great practice for when it's actually needed. Then there's no wondering of what you can do and what you can't. We know what to do. This is the antenna right here, and we put it up. We need 3 people to put this up alongside the trailer,
Right.
you know, and then let's get the generator started up, and we know how this is going to work.
Well, it's an emergency exercise for exactly what you mentioned, but also it's very important because when you have a national disaster or a real weather emergency, when all other forms of communications are down, we're up.
I know.
They rely on us.
We're very proud of
Through-
radio that way.
That's right, exactly. And we've come through time and time again.
And in many areas of the world, even when the commercial stations can't operate, you've got your radios up.
That's right, yes. So and you run into problems during field day.
Of course,
And it's just a very good simulation
right.
of what we're
'cause
going to go up against.
You're dealing with real adversity
Exactly,
and solving the problems.
right. So we're going to have several radio stations operating simultaneously.
Yeah, you got digital and the analog. You got high frequency. You got VHF. You got all of it, right?
Satellite.
You're going to do satellite
They're
there.
going to try to do satellite.
You know, I've never
connection.
seen the satellite.
Yep. Yeah, we got to remember that he that's what he enjoys doing. He's going to try. It's not always successful.
Well,
because
that's
you're
true
on the
because satellites keep
but-
moving, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, right. He's only got a very short period of time
Yeah.
to make that contact. But we're going to try to do that up there, and we're going to try something this year. I don't know anything about this. It's called WinLink, and it
Oh,
enables
yeah.
it enables you to send emails over the airwaves rather than through computers.
It's digital and it's going to interface with the
Yes.
with the email system. Yeah.
Yeah, what I know a little about it, let's say you're out on the water somewhere and
Right.
you run out, well, then you can use this WinLink to send an email where if you don't have a cell phone signal or anything like that.
Is
So
it
we're
just
gonna have
is
to
it just as quick sending emails by radio waves?
I don't know anything about this system, Joe. I'm sorry.
All
I
right.
want to learn it as
Well,
well as
Joe,
much as
you
do.
can you can reason it out for yourself. Radio waves move at the speed of light,
Okay. So the
and
answer's
and
yes.
electricity in a wire generally moves at about the speed of light.
Yep.
It's pretty good,
All right.
pretty fast.
Yep. And so, so what I'd like to say is that, for anyone with a curiosity about or an interest in or would like to learn what's involved in amateur radio, feel it is an outstanding opportunity to see ham radio in action.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you're going to see it right there. But,
and you can ask questions,
yep,
and if you ask nicely, you can even get on the radio
you
too.
can, I was going to mention that. If visitors, we have what they call a go-to station, which
Yeah.
is get on the air.
Yeah.
And this is where visitors will not only be able to observe how our radio operations are working, but will also have the opportunity to operate the radios. It's the only time, I believe, that the FCC allows unlicensed people to get on the radio.
Right.
And that's because we're going to have
The operator's there.
guides right there.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
under supervision.
Yep.
But
Yep.
they and in ham radio, it's not the station so much that's licensed; it's the individual operator.
Well, on field there, we have to use
You have to
my,
use.
we pick a member and we use his
Okay.
call sign.
Uh-huh.
So
So
when they
it's,
come
it's
to
not
go,
W1 Delta 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 Delta. It's not W1
no,
DDD.
no, we're
D.
going to use we use a member sign
Yeah.
on all 3 of the stations that
Oh,
we
okay.
run. So when they come to the go-to station, we'll explain what's going on, and then after experience ham, we'll guide the visitors in the proper protocols to make contacts worldwide, and then we put them on the air, and it's that's kind of a nice thing because when they make contact with someone halfway across the world, they get pretty excited.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
It's really nice, but they'll get a feel for it also. So that works out that way.
Well, you're right about that, Ron. If I stop you right there, because now I've been around for a while. I've been doing this radio thing for a while. You might think I'm pretty jaded about it all, but there's a couple of well, I guess it's more than that. Maybe 4 or 5 field days ago, we went down there on field day, and I actually made contact with a guy in Michigan. right there. Just that, put it on, do the call signs and the protocols and stuff like that. And guy was in Michigan. He was at a field day, and he was wishing us well. We were wishing him well from Rhode Island. He marked it on. Hey, I talked to Rhode Island. Must be off the coast of New York.
That's a very good point, by the way.
Yeah, and I asked him, are you Upper Peninsula or Lower Peninsula? He was Lower Peninsula. So that's where most of the people
Was
live.
he impressed that you knew your Michigan geography?
I don't know if he was impressed, but because there wasn't much of an expression of emotion.
Surprise, oh, okay.
Yeah, because we were just being, just talking the facts and doing the contacts and everything. And I didn't expect to be impressed by it, but even to this day, I'm impressed by that.
Sure.
And I remember the great feeling I got, and I wish other people would try it out.
If you try it, I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
And you made an interesting point. Excuse me. Rhode Island, for some reason or other, is a difficult state to contact. For some reason, because I'm told it's because we have operators, but we're not on the air a lot.
Yeah.
So when a guy from Tennessee or California, Idaho, whenever they contact you, oh, thank you for Rhode Island. We
Wow.
needed Rhode Island.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great.
So it's,
They have contests sometimes, and they try to
Oh,
get all
fantastic.
50 states.
Yep.
They try to get all the countries in the world and
Yep.
things like there's different. It's a nice hobby. It really is. And if you have some time, if you're retired and you're looking for something, you don't have to be like me, a guy who's steeped in the engineering part and assembling and
No.
adjusting and all the rest of that stuff. Now, there are many in the hobby that are,
Oh, yes.
but fewer and fewer really get into the twisting wires and building things from scratch and everything. You buy a radio and you get into it and you learn how to use it and you have some fun.
You do not need a lot of money to join amateur radio.
Right.
You can have I have a very simple station,
Yeah.
simple radio, simple wire antenna, and I talk to people in Europe, South America. You can talk to anywhere in the world.
Cool.
At certain times, certain conditions, anywhere in the world, you can do it. So that's one of the interesting aspects of it.
And Joe, it's the kind of hobby that you can always find someone to help you into it and
Yeah.
teach you the ropes. They call them Elmers.
Elmers.
Right. And I had my Elmers, and I got in because I was into radio in the commercial sense. And I was very late in life before I got my ham ticket. Seriously, took the
Right.
test and actually got a call sign. So, and I needed an Elmer to tell me what was going on. I know all about antennas and broadcasting and stuff, but it's different. You got to know the ham bands and stuff, and you learn all that. There's a lot of books out there, and there's a bunch of people who will help you through.
Well, it can be intimidating when you're first starting, but if you stick with it, you'll get it.
Oh yeah.
It's a repetition, it's routine, and it's a wonderful fraternity or sorority, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, because they will help you out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they're very friendly
That's the
people
cool
and
part.
very willing to help. So
Now,
it's a wonderful organization.
Do you pick Situate because of its topography? Is it
I
one of the
believe
higher
so.
hills in Rhode
Yes,
Island?
yeah.
It's not far away from the place where they monitored the tanks in Germany during World War II.
Well, there you go.
So
Okay,
the
that's really
general area has propagation characteristics from nature that help. And the Chopman's Tiller Inn is up on the hill. And then you have a very genial host there that lets you do it
Right.
on top of all of that.
Yep.
So
Now, you're doing the field day, and you're going to do it in Situate in Rhode Island. Do you know where in Massachusetts they're doing theirs? Is it in close proximity
different
to yours?
clubs have different locations.
Okay.
So it's where they set up. I know North Attleboro sets up in a park.
They do.
They
Okay.
do, yeah. So there are different clubs will set up all over, and then you'll get. It's interesting because sometimes you think the closest station will be easier to get, but you'll probably get the further stations
Yeah.
before you get the closest stations. It's interesting.
well, it
Now-
happens, yeah.
Were you able to talk to anyone during the California wildfires?
I did not.
No. Okay.
No, I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
Actually, I talked to my son because he lived there.
Oh, all right.
But on the radio, I'm sure you could. Yes.
Well, during those types of events, there's different frequencies that are good for different things.
Yeah.
There's the long distance frequencies, or the high frequency HF they call it, right? And that's where I reached Michigan, even
Sure.
during the daytime.
Mhm.
But then there's the small VHF and UHF, which they use for local, because they don't go and skip off the atmosphere like that, and you get a chance to work the local area. There's good things. Everything's a double-edged sword on this planet. The good thing is that the higher frequencies don't come in. You don't broadcast and it comes in somebody else's backyard that you're not trying to talk to. But at the same time, you get really good reception nearby because they're not interfering with you.
Right.
But if you
Right.
go to high frequency and you try to use it for local purposes, you got a lot of people from far-flung areas that you're also getting a signal to, and they may be getting their signal to you, and that becomes more of a traffic problem.
Well, the other thing I found is different times of the day you'll get different areas because of the propagation of the,
That's
of
right.
the airwaves and so forth. And if you get a good bounce,
Yeah.
you can get someone in Australia or things like that. So
So that's,
how's-
that's a
challenging.
triple bounce to get to
How's
Australia.
the clarity of people coming in from different parts of the country? Is there static involved?
Yes, there is. Sometimes there's a lot of static.
Okay.
The atmosphere is just not cooperating.
All right.
And I've made contact with some people that I could not log because I could not get their
Couldn't
information.
understand them.
You know, yeah, it kept breaking up on me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's one of the challenges of
Yeah.
Amateur radio, is to and how to work it, how to finesse it. But sometimes the conditions are just against you,
Yeah.
you know. And then they'll tell you sometimes the 10-meter band is wide open, but the 15-meter band you're not hearing anything. So you know, we're at the mercy of Mother Nature, I guess.
Tell them
to
what
certain extent.
frequencies those are. 10-meter band, 15-meter band.
Oh, the
And that refers to the wavelength of the
wavelength,
wave.
yeah.
But what are the frequencies? People will understand frequencies more.
let's see. Boy, I don't have them with me over here. I'm sorry.
10 meter is 28 megahertz, right?
Something like that. I
Yeah.
don't remember. I don't remember. I have a chart on my.
Of course you do.
Right next
Yeah,
to my
so you don't have to
station, so that's
memorize
why I
it
watch
because you
over
have
there. I don't wanna
you have a
memorize all
chart.
that.
And Joe,
I should
on,
know by now, though.
on Sunday mornings, we've been broadcasting for years now the ARRL, that's the American Radio Relay League's weekly audio program where it talks about the news in the radio. And one of they mentioned Field Day coming up this
Oh,
coming
good.
Saturday, and I'm sure they'll have something about it this next weekend as
Sure.
well. But they made a big deal about the sunspot activity, the
That's what it is.
solar cycle.
Yep.
Solar cycle emissions from the sun, Joe, have an effect on the atmosphere here on Earth. As the particles come from the sun, they charge particles in the Earth's atmosphere, and it's those particles that the radio waves actually bounce off of. So when you go into a sun cycle, you get very different type of, and we're in a very high sun cycle right now. I think it's cycle number 25, and it's not going to last all that long, but we're pretty much peaking out, aren't we?
Well, right now the conditions have been very well.
Yeah.
Not long ago, the conditions
2-3
were
years
awful.
ago, you couldn't get
you
anywhere.
couldn't reach anybody. You couldn't hear anyone.
Wow.
Now they have a new thing. I'm not familiar with it. It's a digital type of program. It's called FT8,
Yeah.
and it goes through the computer.
Yeah.
And that program allows you to see signals you not see over with your antenna, and you do it all by computer.
Wow.
So it just goes through there, and you make connections, and they're from all over the world, and that's become very popular.
Some people like that. And
Yeah.
then you're like at a teletype thing where you're actually sending the words over the radio waves, but it's the digital. It's kind of like if you sent something over the internet,
Right. They have
the words over the internet, but you're using radio waves instead.
All right. The Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club Field Day is this coming weekend, June 28th, starting at 2 p.m., lasting until June 29th. At 2 p.m., come on down to the Chopmist Hill in Route 102 in Scituate. Free to get in, and refreshments will be available.
Walk around. Someone will be there at a friendly table, and you can approach them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, may I just add that if your listeners want to learn more about the club and about Field Day, they can visit our website, which is w1ddd.org. And all the information is right there on the website. You'll learn about the club, you'll learn about the exams. It's pretty comprehensive.
Sure.
resource.
All right, great. Ron Blaze, thanks for coming in.
Well, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
And I'm wishing you good weather on this coming weekend.
I hope so. Not too hot either.
Because it's rain or shine, this event, right?
Rain or shine, we go.
All right. More Coffee Hands coming up. We're going to take a look at the weather forecast brought to you by unbound.org.
Mostly sunny and hot today with a high of 97 degrees. Heat index values as high as 103. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 73. Tuesday's weather, sunny and very hot with a high of 102 on the thermometer and heat index values as high as 110. Wednesday, mostly sunny and hot with a high of 93. Thursday, mostly cloudy, high of 75, a 40% chance of a shower. Friday, mostly cloudy skies, high of 73. Saturday, mostly cloudy and a high of 76. And on Sunday, partly sunny skies, high near 81 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street under mostly sunny skies, we've got 78 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor, an elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own at unbound.org.
Innovation is driving Rhode Island forward. It's all part of the Rhode Island 2030 plan to power the future of innovation right here at home. We're building Ocean State Labs, a life sciences incubator in Providence, and launching a first-of-its-kind cybersecurity school at Rhode Island College, training the next generation for high-demand careers. Blue economy and ocean tech companies are choosing Rhode Island to grow cutting-edge technologies and create good-paying jobs. Go to ri2030.ri.gov to learn more.
Dean Bank has the checking account you need, combined with the personal service that's just not commonly found today. From free checking to one that offers free ATMs across the nation, we have the perfect account to fit your individual needs. Visit deanbank.com for complete details and to open an account online in just a few minutes. All access checking, free checking, money market accounts, and more at Dean Bank, where they want to be your bank. Dean Bank, member FDIC, member DIF.
Coffee In here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray. Our thanks to Ron Blaze from the Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club for joining us. So, well, we threw some bombs at Iran. Not us, but the U.S. government did.
Threw some bombs. They put B-52s over Iranian airspace.
Yeah.
Put those guys in harm's way, and they
Knocked
had a
them
good
out.
idea where they thought the nuclear facilities were, and they dropped bunker-busting bombs that are purposely designed to put their force downward.
What I don't understand is the way some people are reacting to this, and they keep saying, "Oh, this is an act of war," and I go, you know, how many times did Bill Clinton send in the bombers? How many times did Barack Obama and George Bush, both Bushes? No one ever said boo then when we sent in bombs.
Well, no one before Mr. Trump has ever enjoyed the relationship with Congress that he does.
Enjoy?
Did I clean that up well enough?
And so there were people.
why would you think that Mr. Trump, first of all, would even tell Congress that it was what he was doing?
Well, he didn't.
And before we get further down that road, let me just say I think it was wrong personally as a citizen of the country. But for the matter of discussion,
Not to tell him?
I think it was wrong to not tell
Okay.
them. I mean, I admired the first Mr. Bush. I remember with Nicole on my lap watching on the pay cable television that they were voting to support Mr. Bush in attacking Iraq at that time. And I remember that very well, and I remember teaching the lesson to my daughter, and this is really the way it should be. But as a practical matter, knowing what his personality is, knowing how he works deals, knowing that he just said to everybody, "I'll give you 2 weeks."
Yeah.
He's not going to wait 2 weeks. Did anybody here think he was going to wait 2 weeks? Raise your hand.
No.
I don't see any hands.
Well, wasn't he supposed to fix the war in the Ukraine in a day. Isn't that what he said?
It's not going so well.
Yeah, it's not going so well.
Yeah.
But he was going to fix it in a day.
He was
Right.
gonna end it.
He was going to end
End
it.
it
It was
in
going
a
to end it in a day in Ukraine.
So
Yeah.
so anyway, he decided that to do something and use the element of surprise was what he wanted to do and the best way to proceed. Now he knows things that we don't know, so I'm a little reluctant to criticize, but I absolutely don't like the style. Absolutely don't care for how he did it. But I understand the element of surprise is very important and does save lives on your side if you can do that. And it does prove a point. Obviously, the United States has military superiority over Iran. That's pretty obvious just by the nature of the beasts. And anybody with a second glance would know this. But I think Jack Reed said it best. Really easy to start a war, hard to end
Hard
one.
to end it. Yeah.
True.
All right. Well, no retaliation yet, but you never know what might happen in
Oh
the
yeah,
future. So.
Iran immediately sent missiles over into Israel.
Did they shoot them
Saturday
down?
night, right
They
after
did?
it happened.
Oh, all right.
Immediately there was retaliation, just not on the United States, because then, of course, they're not going to say, well, we're going to come and bomb New York City.
Yeah.
No, they're just going to send a bunch of operatives out there who are going to do suicide missions and try to pick off tourists elsewhere in the world, large cities here in the United States, and spread terror all over the place. The argument with Iran, from Iran's point of view, I've always been told, is religious, so it will never end.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we had a demonstration at Providence City Hall, just as a group of demonstrators. Any idea on how many is a group? How many people showed up?
Well,
No
more than
idea.
3 is a group, Joe.
So yeah,
I'm
just wonder.
speaking literally. I mean,
Yeah.
when you have 4 or more, it's a group.
No, those taking
Right.
part
3
says
is a few, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Those
And 2
taking
is a
part
couple.
says the
Right.
demonstration was an anti-war protest, not a really pro-Iran demonstration, but they didn't like the idea that we were bombing them. So
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Can anybody here disagree with the fact that you've got some folks in Iran, which is the theocracy, which means it's all based on religion, and they've made all the comments that death to Israel, death to the United States for so many decades now. Can anyone actually, with a straight face, believe that they should have a nuclear weapon if we have a choice about it?
the Iranians, no.
Yeah, absolutely not, right?
I mean, you would say, from our point of view, if they are dedicated to our destruction and death, do we want to stand by and let them build a nuclear weapon?
No.
No, we should probably, in our own self-defense, do what we can do to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon. And so far, words haven't worked out real well.
All right, so more to come on this. And when I see on a quick little headline I just saw is Iran is now turning towards Russia for help. So,
Of course they
Fantastic.
so I mean, who else are going to turn to? So, all right, moving on. Are things this bad that are things so bad now that you have to steal from a lemonade vendor at Roger Williams Park?
I know.
Oh.
I know.
3 people in custody. They caught them after the alleged assault and robbery of a lemonade vendor in Providence. Police were called to Roger Williams Park on Saturday, where the victim told officers the suspects assaulted him with a hammer before stealing cash and taking off in a vehicle. The police spotted the vehicle a short time later and arrested the suspects. Police are continuing their investigation into the incident. They're asking anyone with information to come forward.
With a hammer. Nice.
That's the only thing they could get a hold of. So you get that one, and then
Would you call that a deadly weapon the way
Absolutely.
it's used? Wouldn't you? So it's
Yeah.
assault with a deadly
Yeah.
weapon.
And then there's the people down in Warwick that were stealing the frozen shrimp.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have a party.
Yeah, that's what that's the first thing I
$200
thought.
worth
A
of
shrimp.
frozen shrimp from the Stop and Shop.
They've all been barbecued, and now they've all been eaten. Now, so
Where's the evidence?
they stopped. They went to the Stop and Shop, which is on Warwick Avenue, in Warwick, and surveillance photos posted on the police department's Facebook page. Them taking the shrimp out there with them.
Right.
So
Just walked out.
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
They shoplifted $200
Well, they
worth,
got
worth of
pictures
shrimp.
of them, but they don't know them.
So
Well, but somebody will.
That's why
Well,
they
you would
put
think
them
so,
on
yeah.
their
Somebody will know you.
website
You're going to get
or
caught.
Facebook page.
Yeah.
now I've seen the
don't-
round frozen shrimp
Yeah.
that you buy at Stop and Shop. So how many can you carry that'll be worth $200 worth? You got 10 of these things?
Well, Joe, last time I bought shrimp, we're looking at $15
Right.
a pound.
Maybe they're on sale for $11.99, right?
So
I mean,
they're
it's
grabbing a lot of these.
yeah.
know,
There's
but
a lot.
thanks.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell the cops
Like,
that they were on sale.
Do
but
people
they-
not realize that stores have cameras? Like they're gonna get caught.
Well, they're going to be at least their
Is the
pictures are gonna be
is the
posted.
reward worth the risk? I hope those were the
thought-
best shrimp
You
ever.
ever had? I hope so. Leslie Page has joined us at the coffee and table. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, good morning.
You weren't part of the shrimp stealing in Warwick, were you?
No, I was
Okay.
far away at the time.
Okay. All right, we're going to take another break here on Coffee In, but more is coming up, so we ask you to please stick around.
This is ON Radio.
WIC is a supplemental nutrition program that plays a crucial role in improving the health and well-being of children by providing families with access to healthy foods, nutritional education, and other essential services. WIC programs help improve the long-term health outcomes of mothers and children by ensuring all eligible families have access to cost-free nutrition resources they need to thrive. If you or someone you know could benefit from WIC, go to health.ri.gov/WIC. Sponsored by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Blackstone Valley's ON Radio.
All right, Coffee In here on ON. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray and Leslie Page. So, another institution has decided no more cash payments. If you're heading down to the Cape Cod National Seashore, you have to pay with your credit card, your debit card, or a mobile payment, like a Venmo kind of thing down there. And that's what they'll take at the entrance.
I
Yes,
think we have to get Jack Reed and Senator Whitehouse and our two congressmen together in the same room and say, okay, next session, this is what you're putting in. Change the writing on all U.S. currency to say sometimes legal tender.
Yeah.
For some things.
Do you know I asked Bob Lauder this question?
Yeah.
Because, and he looked it up, and he says, a business does not have to accept U.S. currency.
Right.
They don't have to take the
That
paper
is
money. Isn't that
wild.
There's
That
no
is
law that
wild.
says you have to do that.
Yeah.
If you do accept currency, it has to be U.S. currency. That he looked up as well. But if you just want to take just credit cards, perfectly fine.
Why would you do that? I mean, I guess I know why. Like, if you don't want a lot of cash sitting around.
We don't want any old farts in national parks. We want all the young people coming. That's what we want. We don't want to be handling any dirty old currency.
Well, the park says the move is a response to an executive order by the president to reduce the amount of cash handled by the federal government. So you're going to see more and more federal sites not taking cash.
That's insane and makes no sense.
I like the idea of change the currency. Sometimes it's accepted.
Depends.
Depends if we feel like it or not.
Right.
It makes you wonder if they have one of those machines at the entrance to the Cape Cod seashore. Here, go throw $50 or $20 in this machine that'll spit out a card and then give us the card. which is 2 extra
Well,
steps
that's
you got to
great
do.
because then all that cash sits in that
I
one
know, but-
machine,
but-
and
So
I'm sure.
So the bad guys know where it
If
is.
you did that, first
Yeah.
of all, if you put $50 in, you probably get a card that's worth $46 or $47.
But that's
Because there's a fee.
And then when you
No,
give
it's
it,
not, though.
No.
And when you give it to the, then they're going to get charged the 2 or 3%. Before you know it,
Because my daughter has and her friends have used this out at Six Flags, and they don't take cash, and they put $50 in the machine and they got a $50 card back. I don't know how they make their money. Obviously, Six Flags must be paying them something to do this. So you don't put $50 in and get a $40 card back. I thought that's how it would work, because that would make sense, but it's not. It's not how it works. So I don't know. How do things work over at the library, Leslie?
Can you pay fines?
You can pay cash. There you go.
Can you pay fines with cash? Coin of the realm?
We take cash.
Yeah, okay.
Is it still 5 cents a day?
No,
No, it's gone up.
it's 20.
Is it? Okay. See how long it's been since I
He's been a
brought
good
a
boy.
late
He's been
book
a good
back.
boy.
I was always very good at taking these things back on time. What else is going on at the library, Leslie?
Well, our summer hours are Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will be closed on Saturdays through Labor Day weekend. We offer self-service photocopying and faxing, and our reference department provides notary services free of charge on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. and 2 to 4 and 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., and Tuesday and Friday 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. and 2 to 4 p.m. This week, the Children's Department is offering Sensory Exploration Fun today at 10 a.m. and on Wednesday, June 25th, also at 10 a.m. The Youth Services Department is running an escape room for kids and teens through the month of June. This is the final week to book appointments for groups of up to 8 for Beat the Clock, Escape the Game. To register or to get more information about all children's programs, please call 767-4122. Our teen department holds a tabletop role-playing game every Tuesday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Anyone age 11 through 18 is welcome. Storytelling through theater is a drop-in workshop for ages 11 through 18 at the library every Thursday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. For more information on all teen programs, please call 767-4132. Our next Tech Tuesday will be held on Tuesday, June 24th at 2 p.m. This session will be devoted to learning email tips and tricks. Call 767-4124 to register. All of the latest information about programs, services we offer, and how to reach us can be found at our website, woonsocketlibrary.org, or on our Facebook page. If you have any questions or would like more information about anything I've mentioned today, please call us at 769-9044. And we look forward to seeing you at the library.
Where the air conditioning is working today.
Are you a cooling center?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we haven't been there yet. I'm
good
hoping.
to know that everything is working. All right. This comes up a couple of times in the past couple of years in Massachusetts. I want to know, Melissa, have you seen it come up in Rhode Island? But the Massachusetts state legislature is considering proposals that would ban people from getting religious exemptions for child vaccines. Have you seen anything like that in Rhode Island?
To ban them getting but the opposite. We've had some anti-vax legislation come up.
These are people that are pro-vaccine, all right?
Yeah, no, we haven't had that.
Okay, supporters of the proposals in
Not
Mass.
in a couple of years. Not in a few
They're
years.
concerned that religious exemptions are being misused by parents who do not want their children to take certain vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
Some people who want the exemptions to remain say there is a lack of accountability for makers of vaccines. This keeps coming up in Massachusetts, by the way, but it doesn't gain any legislative approval. So
Yeah, well,
I don't know if it will
mean,
this time or not either.
I would say probably listen to your doctor because they are the people who should be making those decisions. But I know that we didn't hear the anti-vax bills
This
in
time
the
around?
Senate. Nope.
All right.
Well, there's been a great deal of public comment one way or the other about that, especially since the pandemic. But I was looking at this date in history. It was on this date, June 23rd, in 1995, Dr. Jonas Salk passed away at the age of 80.
Mm-hmm.
And there are ever so many young people who were spared the horrors of polio
Yes.
because of his work and
Yep.
to put in the vaccine. Of course, the work of everybody else afterwards to distribute it. And vaccines are not necessarily bad. So I know that there's great suspicion because of the amount of money that's made with vaccines now. And even I have to admit, watching a TV show and the 20 medical ads or pharmaceutical ads that come up in a course of an hour,
We need to get rid of those.
thinking to myself, you know, something's wrong with this. They keep inventing new things for you to be afraid of so you can take a vaccine or a pill for it. And now there is the latest trend is coming up with a drug that you take when the drug they gave you isn't enough.
Right.
Oh, great.
That's right.
Combo drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, this one is only for those who are taking this other one and not satisfied, but they can't give you enough to make you satisfied because there's limitations on the dosage. So now they have the combo drug that works in conjunction.
Ask your
with-
doctor about insert drug
Why
name.
would I? The
Well,
doctor's
because
going
then
to
you
tell
can
me
make
what I
the
need.
big pharma more money. Look, I am pro-vaccine, although I don't feel that we should legislate what people do medically. But I am pro-vaccine. I will always encourage people to get their vaccinations. Like that's why measles shouldn't be happening right now. Outbreaks of measles, and like there's no reason for that to be happening. However, you know how much I despise big pharma, and most of what I do is trying to stop big pharma and their greed. So there's a lot going on there.
But I love that cartoon owl for Zytalt or something.
Oh,
like that.
yeah, I thought cartoon.
Zyzalt.
Yes, right. But that's why you're meant to remember it because it's easy. Oh, he's cute, and
Yeah,
maybe
the
like,
cute-looking
oh yeah,
owl, yeah,
maybe
the
I
kid-
should ask my
Oh, is
doctor
it?
about
He's
that.
intelligent too.
That's
yes,
right.
wise. Yeah, right.
Read the
Wise
bottom
owl.
line.
That's
Well, the bottom line is we
Bottom line,
make
may
a lot of
cause
money with
death,
this drug.
dismemberment, this, that, heart attack, stroke.
All right. So
That's
here's-
right. And you might die. Be sure to tell your doctor if you
yeah.
die while using this medicine.
And also, you might die.
Well, don't take it if you're allergic to it.
And don't
That's-
take it if you're
that's
allergic
my,
to
That's my absolute favorite.
I know. How would you know you're allergic until you
Till
take
you
it?
take it. All right, Melissa. Here's your worst nightmare.
Oh, no. No.
Do you know where Valdosta, Georgia
Yes,
is?
I sure do. Valdosta. Yes.
Valdosta. Okay. Park goers got more than they bargained for after getting stuck on the rides during a power disruption at Georgia's Wild Adventures theme park. Did you ever go there?
No.
No. Okay. But Melissa used to live down in Georgia, by the way. The theme park posted a statement on Facebook on Saturday in response to visitors using social media to complain about the incident. There was a widespread power disruption linked to a nearby utility substation. It affected the park and the surrounding community. There's video and photos shared on social media that show people on the Wild Adventures blue and green Twisted Typhoon roller coaster stuck on the incline.
Oh.
just hanging out.
Just on the incline, like not upside down or anything.
No, they're not upside down.
That's
They
all
are
right.
at,
Well,
at a good 45-degree angle or so. Sitting there in the hot sun.
yeah, that's a nightmare.
Now, was there any comment?
I thought you were going to have, when you said Valdosta, I thought you were going to talk about those like big, hairy, jumping spiders that they have down in Georgia, which is also my
No,
nightmare.
I don't know about those.
Was there any comment in the story regarding the length of the power disruption?
No. The theme park
Because
said
if it's just a few minutes, no big
It's
deal.
got- it's
20
got-
minutes, you get tired of it. After a
Also,
half
like
hour,
when
I've
the
had
power
enough.
comes
It's gonna
back
go
on,
longer.
you don't have to worry about it, right? Thinking that it's going to happen again at some point in the ride, right?
They just
Oh,
said
on, off.
they put out another statement that said due to the disruption, it followed its established safety procedures and evacuated rides where necessary. So it looks like you got to call in the fire department and help the people off the roller coaster.
Sure. Yeah.
So-
Well, that makes sense, huh? And then what do they do afterwards? Do they say everybody rides free the rest of the night? Please stay and buy
They
cotton
probably
candy.
say come back again.
Yeah,
You know,
come back again next
another day.
time. Here's a free pass to come back.
If it was Ben Mondor, he'd have been at the front gate handing
handing
you
them out,
tickets
yeah.
for entry tickets to come back again. He was
Leslie.
a smart businessman.
Yes.
A man in Oakland, California is in hot water, stealing video games from the local libraries
Oh.
in Marin County, which is near Oakland.
People do that.
Marin
They,
County,
they
yeah.
check them out and don't return them, and they sell them on eBay.
Oh, well, okay. Sheriff deputies recently took Jamal Reed Obafumi into custody following an investigation. Now, does Woonsocket Harris rent out video games?
We do not.
No?
But there are libraries in the state that do.
Okay. Well, then you don't have to worry about it then.
No, we don't.
All right.
But besides, Jamal is otherwise occupied today.
Yes. Well, he has since made bail, but faces numerous charges. Investigators say he stole multiple Nintendo Switch games worth a total of roughly $10,000 from libraries around the county.
A lot.
Wow. Yep. It's believed the thefts have happened at 7 different library branches over a 3-month period.
Wow.
So it's about the dollar amount, because once you hit
He
a certain
must be-
dollar amount, you.
Yeah.
Yep.
He must be doing what Leslie said. He's selling to somebody, maybe not
Selling
going
them,
online.
yeah.
But definitely getting rid of them somehow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that'll do it for the show for today. We thank Ron Blaze from the Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club for joining us earlier, and Leslie Page, thanks for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, and Melissa, thanks for being here.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right, and Dave, thanks for sticking around.
It's a pleasure.
All right, I'm Joe Callahan. Senior Scene is coming up next here on ON Radio right after the 9 o'clock news.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.